What's good, guys? What is up? How is everybody's Wednesday going? As you can see, if you can read, it's only if you can read. We're gonna be watching Alex and Nick. Nick went on Alex Jones show, so we're gonna be watching him talk on there, and then we're gonna be scrolling through the X timeline and seeing what we see on there, see and talk about. Not a crazy not a crazy Wednesday. Unc, I see you in the chat. So we have a nice regular Wednesday. Nothing too crazy that I've heard about. But everybody mad at me when I posted the nuke shit. Niggas was so mad. They was in the comments infuriated when I post that shit. But anyways, Christians all day. Imagine Black Israel. I can't. Bro, what I don't understand about niggas is that how do we believe Julius Caesar? He has like 9 sources, like 9 known sources for Julius Caesar. He has like 9 of them. We believe in Julius Caesar though. Jesus Christ has like 2,000 known sources. How do we not believe in him? But we believe in Julius Caesar. I don't. That still baffles me to this day. But yeah, Black Israelites, they are funny. They are very funny, actually. I watch them debate Jay Dyer, and Jay be cooking all of them. Unfortunately, he really be cooking. So I haven't seen Jay not get cooked yet. Afrocentrism. We was kings, none of that. Imagine we was kings and shit. They love saying that shit. We was kings and shit. They love that shit, bro. Goofy ass niggas. But yeah, let's get into this fucking stream. I'm already fucking late. But yeah, let's go.
The bitch shaking it, showing it. You this, you that. We laughing at them together. Oh! So stop treating these mother like they mean something.
Let's go to TikTok. All right, now first video that popped up on my feed was this, and it was Nick. When Nick got doxxed by the lady, they finally released the video, so we about to watch this shit. Imagine getting doxxed and somebody coming to your house and then thinking it's okay to come up to your steps and start recording and saying, and I wouldn't even say she was making threats, but try to like show everybody your address and your house. Like, imagine that. That's crazy. On your steps, bitch. Get on the sidewalk. Get away from my house.
Hi. Oh my God! What are you doing?
She got caught. Look. Imagine she trying to be nice now. Get caught trying to film and shit. And what's funny is he has a Ring camera, so he probably heard what she was saying before she walked up here while she's making the video, and she probably didn't even peep the camera. You see what I'm saying? They came here on a mission. Did you catch that? Like,
Hi. Oh my God! What are you doing?
yeah. Don't go up to people's houses and trying to record or dox them doing things or trying to get information out and give it out to people. That's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. Get a life. That's what you get right here. Boom. Push to the ground. Get your ass back on that sidewalk. Our podcast just hacked the home camera of Andrew Wilson, and this is crazy. No, this is sick. Why they doing? Why Jake doing Andrew like this? I thought they was cool. What happened? Bro, my nigga, it's not even that serious. The pickle, y'all are OD on the pickle jar with this nigga. Like, it's not that serious, bro. Oh my gosh. Sometimes you can open it, sometimes you can't, bro. I watched today. Andrew's the that's Andrew's. I like Andrew. He's smart. He's very smart and he's well put together. And the things he says the things he say is true. So it's like niggas be on him because his wife had three. He's basically a stepdad. He's basically a cuck. But he says it all the time. He says that all the time. But it's like, or he's a simp or whatever. But like he says that all the time. But like he still doesn't say do what he does. He doesn't say, "Oh, you should wife women who have children." He still tells men, "Do not wife, try not to wife women who have children." Most of the time, they're not good, which is true. If you find an anomaly to the situation, then you're still what you are, but it might work. But he still says don't do that. So I mean, it's not a smart idea for young men to do. But yeah, I don't know why they be on him about the fucking pickle jar. Bro couldn't open a pickle jar on go, so now he's weak or some shit. Like, that's are we serious right now? Hold up. Niggas always saying something about Myron. Clavicular's lesbian ex reveals Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit just brings on girls just to sleep with them.
Is. Okay, wait. Has Myron ever tried to have sex with you? No, but he does fuck the OF girls like crazy. Not gonna lie, it's almost like a funnel for his show. He like brings all the OF horse onto his show, and then he's like, eeny meeny miny mo. Oops.
See, the problem with that logic is why would you trust an OF whore to not snitch on you? Do you see what I'm saying? Like that's why it's like when you have a brain and you fucking bitches, you don't fuck with certain bitches because you understand that they're here for a certain thing. Like they're not here just to fuck you. The whore is here to get some information or get some a video, a clout or something. So why would he risk his brand just to fuck a bitch? Like that's like funny that she thinks that. And then he kicks out most of the like if a bitch is acting stupid, he kicks them out. So like I don't maybe he fucks the ones that are quiet, I guess, but it's when are they fucking quiet? Oh my god, like when are the bitches quiet ever? When are those bitches quiet? Chud the Builder calls famous streamer Bilu the hard R. Hey, is that black guy bothering you? That's a good. I wish I wasn't on YouTube. That's a good enter.
Hey, is that black guy bothering you? Is that nigga bothering you? Oh no. He laughed about it. What a good sport.
I thought he actually stayed and talked to him. When she was 16, inviting her to his house. Depending on where they're at, 16 is consent. Just telling you the law, guys. Don't beat me up. That's the fucking law. Go fucking kill the niggas. She's suing because this is a lot to read. I don't even feel like reading this. Okay, so let's just read the top. Clavicular is being sued for battery and fraud by an influencer after sleeping with her while she was under 18 and injecting her with Aqualix to melt fat in her cheeks and promising to make her the female face for Looks Maxim.
Shut the fuck up. It's all good. Dr. Clav? Yeah.
So injected the drug into her cheeks. All this shows is him injecting the drug. Okay. All right.
Let's go! Let's go! Okay, good. Don't mind me, guards.
Oh shit. Fuck. God damn it. James Franco reveals Seth Rogen and his brother. This will be the last one. Then we'll watch Alex and Nick. James Franco reveals Seth Rogen and his brother Dave Franco cut him off after he was exposed for having relationships with his acting class students. I'll admit I did sleep with students. I love Seth Rogen, but I get it. He had to answer for me, and I'm sorry. Um, Addressing teaching a sex scenes class and sleeping with students. How? I mean, if the students were of age, I mean, I guess, right? Or is that like a power dynamic? But if it's a fucking, I guess it's like it's not even like a real class. It's like you're not getting. I don't know. Do you get a certificate and said I went to the James Franco class? But like is there an award for doing the class, or do you just say, hey, I did the class, I learned something? Like how there would be like a power dynamic that would like make people want to like have sex with him.
Look, I'll admit, I did sleep with students. I didn't sleep with anybody in that particular class, but over the course of my teaching, I did sleep with students, and that was wrong. But like I said, it's not why I started the school. He was asked about me, and I just want to say, I absolutely love Seth Rogen. You know, and because I guess I'm talking about because a lot of people come up to me like, oh, I love Seth Rogen. I worked with him for 20 years. We didn't have one fight for 20 years, not one fight. He was my absolute closest work friend, collaborator, and you know, we just gelled. And what he said is true. You know, we aren't working together right now, and we don't have any plans to work together. Of course, it was hurtful, you know, in context, but I get it. You know, he had to answer for me because I was silent. He had to answer for me, and I don't want that. And so that's why, you know, it's one of the main reasons I wanted to talk to you today. Is I don't want Seth or my brother or anyone to have to answer for me anymore.
That's a real nigga right there. Okay, my nigga said, "Fuck it." I'm gonna tell you, I was sleeping with the students. Um, yeah, I didn't know he started a school. That's absolute cinema. You fucked around. This is the find out part on God. Yeah. All right, now let's watch Nick and Alex talk about whatever they were supposed to be yapping at. Fucked with underage. I don't know about that one. I didn't hear all that. Uh, but he might have. That might be another reason why Seth stopped fucking with him. But no, I didn't hear that yet. Like anything like solid. He was canceled. Yeah, but I'm trying to think if it was underage or if it was just young girls. So like his students. I'm trying to like that's what I was trying to think. But I don't know. So I don't know. So I'll definitely look into that.
Them demonizing him 24/7 because he said there's a greater Israel project in the last decade. With this is an insane time to be alive. I want to get into it.
Jesus Christ. 17?
It's all.
Nigga, like, no joke. It would have been one more year. One more year, bro. Like, she would have been 18. You would have been straight. Oh, my goodness.
With Nick Fuentes here in the next hour and 45 minutes that we've got with him. Nick J. Fuentes on Rumble. The media is obsessed with him, demonizing him 24/7 because he said there's a greater Israel project in the last decade. Now you have all the main Israeli.
But I wouldn't call him like I don't want to get into this. Like this is why niggas was mad at Nick, because he was like, Epstein wasn't dealing with children, he was dealing with underage girls. So it's like he. So I don't. But I'm not. It was a grooming thing. Yeah, like That's what I would assume it is. Something like that. But I wouldn't call him like a child predator or something like that. That would be kind of a stretch. Not that because 17 is child, but 17 is prepubescent teen if we're being real. So it's like it again. Niggas was mad at Nick because he said the same thing, and I'm like, he's right in a sense because we have to know distinctions. Moral and legal are different. I mean, yeah. I'm not saying morally it was right, but legally that's not what we would call it. Is what I'm saying. Legally, I wouldn't call it him a child predator. I would call him like a groomer of some sort. What's good, Hill? I see you with the follow. Appreciate you, brother.
Perfect. Ministers saying, oh, we're taking Lebanon, we're attacking Turkey, we're taking over everything, and we're the superpower and we control America. And the head of the ADL a month ago says, if
Get your
you say
ass.
Israel got us in this war, we're going to
Get your
censor
ass back.
debank you, shut you down, and we need to use the same energy of exploding pagers we used on Hamas in our 8-front war in America. I mean, this is over the top. And you have all the neocons 3 weeks ago when Trump said, we'll destroy you in one day, your civilization will never come back. Trump says, tune into Levin, we got to drop bombs like Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and all the talking points. The Israeli government, we're going to use neutron bombs. And then Trump does that. I say 25th Amendment is asked if he does that. He backs off the next day, says no nuclear weapons, but then comes out and attacks me and calls me low IQ for going off the Pentagon report that the strait would get closed and the mullahs wouldn't fall. So you can say who's low IQ and who's not. I wanted Trump to succeed. I thought we could try to, salvage something. I think Nick, with a lot of foresight, said, no, it's just better to neuter this thing now. But then how do you counter the Democrats and what they're going to do? So that's a lot I just threw out there, Nick J. Fuentes. It's good to have you back here. Thanks for coming on. Only back a few days. And you and I both instant talking point because you've exposed Southern Power.
Iran can't get their act together. They don't know how to sign a non-nuclear deal. They better get smart soon. President DJT. Bro, I'm trying to tell you niggas. Y'all keep thinking these Iranians see this shit and think, oh my God, I'm so proud of America. They are sick and tired of us, bro. Especially this nigga. He think this is a game. He done killed niggas. Like we're not. There's nobody's coming back to life. This isn't fucking multiplayer Warzone. None of that shit. There's no gulag, nigga. You're not coming back. The niggas he killed are dead, gone. You don't think niggas is going to sleep at night thinking about that shit every fucking night? I be trying to tell, and this is why I show respect to everybody, because you never know how horrible a nigga life is. All right. Imagine you do something to somebody, you're not thinking about that. Your life is amazing. You're going about your day. You're not thinking about the shit you did. That nigga going to sleep dreaming about you. Dreaming about beating your ass, ripping your throat out, doing something to you. They're dreaming about it. So you keep poking the bear, and when that nigga grab you, don't start screaming.
Poverty Law Center, so have I. We're instantly with no proof. Headlines everywhere by neocons. It's the proof. They're on the Southern Poverty Law Center list. They're funded, and you go, look, of course it's not true. They've helped sue me. They've demonized me, put you on list, doxed you, almost got you killed. And then now we get this thing where the so-called Trump-supporting right wing just lies when they're the ones on the payroll of Israel on record. Nick, that's a long rant. Great to have you here.
Yes, great to be back with you. There's a lot to go over. Obviously, there's a big SPLC indictment. There's a war with Iran, the approval ratings. But right out of the gate, what you just talked about with the SPLC, this is what really got to me. I was obviously away from the show. And like you said, I took a little bit of time off. I was feeling a little burnt out. And then the story comes out about the DOJ indictment against the SPLC. And like you said, almost immediately, with no proof, no evidence, it doesn't even make sense. They start to say that it is the far right, or you could even say, I would argue, just the patriot movement that is actually funded by the far left and has a symbiotic relationship with the SPLC, and we're all informants or something like that. And so I saw that when I was away, and I
No, that's crazy. Imagine somebody pulls up to your house with the gun out. That's crazy. That's why you really need that Ring camera to see who comes to the door, because that shit will save your life. Because that was a perfect view of everything that nigga had in his hand, and it was out the way, so he couldn't block it or nothing like that. Like, that was perfect.
had to remind people on my show, like you just said, they tried to get me killed. And I actually I read on my show, they put out an article in 2022.
We have the clip, but why don't you just recap it? Because they doxed my house and my office too, even infiltrated us. Like, yeah, folks, he doesn't work for them. All the major white supremacist groups that claim me and Nick work for Israel, they do.
Exactly right. And I pointed that out. It's really these violent fringe extreme groups where they're infiltrated by informants. You and I steer clear of that kind of stuff. But I pointed out on my show last night, they did a hit piece about me at the height of Ye 24. You remember when me and Ye came on your show and he was talking about running for president. At the height of all that media controversy, which is probably as notorious as I had ever been, as infamous as I had ever been at that point in time in my career, they put out a hit piece about me, basically telling everybody exactly where I live. They told people how to get there. They put a picture of my house on their website. They interviewed my neighbors. They knocked on my front door. They talked about what floor I live on. They talked about my habits. I mean, this was pretty extraordinary. They were literally came to my house and were peering inside the windows, saying, it appears that the basement unit is unoccupied. The first floor is unoccupied. It looks like he lives on the second floor. And if you go to the central...
We can't tell you the neighbors' names because they fear Fuentes.
Right. Like my fans were going to seek retribution. And this was put out on the SPLC website. This is a $700 million organization, doxing at the time, I believe I was 24, 25 years old, live streamer. And I said on my show, this is just the kind of sick and twisted humor in it. This is an organization that almost got me killed. Of course, that dox led to somebody coming to my house with a gun trying to murder me, as if that's not bad enough.
No one covered it but me and a few others. He then ran off after with a crossbow and a handgun trying to kill you, saying, I'm here to kill you. Dies in a gun battle down the street, and no one covers it.
Yeah, they say it was an alleged assassination attempt. They say that I'm claiming this. He's knocking on the door screaming, where's Nick? With a loaded gun in his hands after he killed 3 people earlier in the day. And you're right, you were one of the only people, and I really appreciate that even talked about it.
Hold on. I like you as an overall person. I think you're smart. Disagree with some things. I'm a target too, so when I stand up for you, I'm standing for myself. Where's the rest of the journalists when people are trying to kill journalists? I mean, this is I'd be an idiot not to support you, which is why they're all idiots. Almost no one supported you. Where's the instincts? We're being shut down tomorrow. And most of the so-called conservative people don't even care. Like, oh, that'll be less competition for us. They're idiots.
Well, you're 100% right, because everybody's targeted.
With nigga Candace on
Everybody
God.
on the right wing, it doesn't matter even what your views are. Charlie Kirk was more moderate than the two of us, more supportive of Trump, everything else. And, not to be glib about it, but look what happened to him. I mean, they try to kill everybody, dox, kill, whatever. So, I mean, you're right. We're all in it together. But there's something sort of sick about it.
That's crazy that they moderated that.
Nearly gets me killed, doxes me, it leads to all this really a horrendous situation. Another person was the would-be assassin himself was killed. And now all these years later, now they say I'm in bed with this organization. They're paying me. I post today, I said, I'm getting a little bit sick of politics. Half the replies are saying, oh, what? The SPLC money dried up. Oh, the SPLC stopped paying you. I'm like, they tried to get me killed 3 years ago. So it's pretty outrageous.
Well, I've talked to real law enforcement experts that I respect. And they said, look, if you talk about this event, the copycats will know that's it. So talk about it. I've had the same stuff you've had repeatedly. And the answer is live behind a gate. Don't come to the door as Alex Jones lives here. Oh, who's that? But yeah, no, they're coming to kill us. And it's just, and I love these nameless accounts and bots out there who don't have any skin in the game pointing at us to make them feel big and say, oh, they're feds when we're the ones exposing the SPLC.
Right, and they're idiots, bots, paid campaign, and a big part of this, which you pointed out, is it is all the pro-Trump influencers. It should just be said at this point that the Trump movement is actually hindering the right wing because, as you know, when people like you or I criticize the war in Iran, which is legitimate because the war in Iran is not America first and it's a disaster. Any way you cut it, it's the pro-Trump influencers that are being paid under the table by PACs and by other political outfits and organizations.
Well, Israel doesn't hide it. 6 months ago, Netanyahu said we're going to flood the U.S. eight-front war and buy influence.
They did. Netanyahu came to the United Nations in September, you're right, and said exactly that. He said it's an eight-front war, and we're going to go on social media, and it's
He literally did what Charlie Kirk told him to do.
them, but it's also the Trump
In his letter.
movement too. It's also the Trump organization. They pay all these influencers to then smear people like you and I, and it's never like they're never going to defend the war in itself and defend it on its merits. It always turns into a smear that me and the Vatican and David Axelrod are plotting to attack Trump, or you and I sold out and that we got paid to go against the Republicans. And so it's like there's something really sick about this whole thing where, and I know you more than me, were willing the good for Trump. I know you wanted it to work, and I wanted it to work too. I was just a bit more pessimistic. But it's like now to see both of us as the enemies and Loomer and Mark Levin elevated and promoted by Trump. Trump is on True Social just glazing these people, talking them up.
And he's promoting, and they admit in polls is killing him, the most unpopular, unsavory people. And I love how Loomer, when I came out and said, I don't think this shooting's staged, I think it's real, she said with a screenshot that I was saying it was staged. The level of deception with this woman, like she has total disrespect for her readers. How would she do that? Like, well, what does that even do?
Something's clearly wrong with her. And I don't say that just to be nasty. I think that clearly something's mentally wrong with her. She has no relationship with the truth at all. The things that she writes, the things she says, they don't make sense. I said something the other day. She's accusing me of working with the Vatican and Barack Obama and Candace Owens to undermine Trump. I posted something. I said, everything Laura Loomer says is a lie. She goes in my replies and says, notice how you didn't say I was lying. I'm like, that's actually precisely what I said. I said exactly that. So she's completely divorced from reality. And
you're saying all of it's a lie. And then she says, oh, notice you don't call me a liar.
Right,
exactly.
yeah,
she's like the
specific.
anti-truth. She's actually perfection of deceit.
She is. And you and I, we've known her a long time. This is somebody who's just totally unhinged and a broken individual. But now she's kind of been dealt back into the game because she's one of the only people that's going to be one of these mercenary attack dogs for the Trump movement. She was basically auditioning for that role during the campaign, and now she's got it. And we all know she's being paid. We all know that she's getting fed information. And I think that's the role, is she's on Twitter now.
Yeah, and I hate to talk about her, but how does Trump think hitching himself one of the most unsavory people, and his numbers are the lowest, 32% plunging? How did he go from jumping for people that supported him but warned him he was doing wrong for our overall agenda to like jumping in bed with his enemies that hated his guts? I mean, Trump is definitely degenerated.
That's all he's got left. I mean, that's the saddest thing is when you or him or anybody looks around, that's all that's left in his camp. Anybody else that's sensible, all the grassroots from the very beginning. I mean, you were one of the first big interviews when people started to pay attention to Trump when he went on your show in 2015. We're all gone. Nobody from the original movement is still hanging on because the principles are not there. The rhetoric's not there. It's just not the same movement. And so with the approval rating favorability collapsing, you look around at the bench, who do you really have left in the MAGA movement? Yeah, it's Sean Hannity, it's Mark Levin, it's Loomer, and I guess he's just going to take what he can get. So it's a pretty grim and sad situation.
Yeah, he says, I anoint these people, and then, because listen, I talk to Trump supporters everywhere, and I don't go off what my listeners want. I wanted to salvage Trump because I know he was overall better than the Democrats, so I kind of held back, not wanting to be precipitous, even though it would be super popular to attack him. I'd say 80% of my listeners are pissed at me that I haven't attacked Trump more. I love Trump like, oh, I don't talk to you, and that's why you do this for clicks. I don't care about CNN playing a clip of me. No, I want to fix the country and the world. I don't know how much danger we're in, but just this idea that you're not at the cool kid table anymore. It's like sophomoric.
It's ridiculous. And I've known you, and my audience knows you too. And this has been an ongoing conversation between you and I for years. And I know that you had reservations and concerns and skepticism, but literally
We've
for
had
no
private
reason
conversations
other
we put
than
on air. I'm like, Nick, I know it's going bad, but think about the Democrats. We gotta, if we totally leave him, then we'll have no influence. We need to not influence to get contact with him. No, influence to get him to not go sideways. But now I've just given up. I mean, you were right. You were right. I was wrong. I mean, there's no doubt now this is a runaway train.
well, but you know, even
Nick,
though
I
be
think
that
you're
as it
muted.
may.
Do we? Nick,
Oh, can you hear me?
Mute Nick.
Test.
We lost Nick's connection.
Oh.
I think Netanyahu has activated the space laser.
This thing is
I think
stupid,
that's
bro.
hear me?
joking. Every time the technical people say it's a staged event, well, let's reconnect. Oh, it's my earpiece? Oh, Nick, my earpiece went out. You go ahead and talk.
All right. Well, anyway, so I was just going to pick up where he left off and basically say that, you know, even in spite of the fact that I turned out to be right, you know, the pessimist sort of won with regard to the Trump movement. Regardless of that fact, Alex was always on the money in the sense that he was willing the good for the country. I don't think there's anything actually necessarily wrong with hoping that Trump was going to succeed, wanting the best from the Trump movement, wanting the best from the Trump administration. And I think, and it's true, that was out of pure selflessness, because it is true that for the past 2 or 3 years, it actually became more and more popular, at least since the inauguration, to attack Trump and really to be as negative as possible about Trump, to play up the war in Iran, or even for that matter, the war in Gaza. Some of the other things like the big, beautiful bill, the lack of mass deportations. And I think that it was always a valid position, even though it turned out maybe not to be true. It was a valid position to want Trump to eventually get it together and get back on track. You know, but now Trump goes out and just throws everybody under the bus. Even the people that believed in him, even the people that maybe wanted to believe in him, were hopeful for him, willing the good in spite of himself, in spite of his own betrayal of his own movement. And so I suppose that's really the saddest thing. But I just have to say,
Yeah, if it's not Netanyahu, Trump ain't doing it.
There, it wasn't my earpiece. This happens like every 2 years. The soundboard crashed. So we're going to reboot it during the break. And sorry about that. That was on our end. Nick, let's talk about this. Trump's now saying, oh, yeah, the Iran war is going to last at least 4 more months, maybe a year, maybe forever. But it was going to
Japan's economy can't hold on that long. It's going to get real wicked if it lasts that long.
all in 4 days. I mean, what a fiasco. What does Nick Fuentes predicts coming next? He's got a great mind at predicting, not just me. Stay with us.
All those fancy leaders
well,
are coming
this was certainly interesting. We've never had such technical difficulties in 17 years in these offices. But the board went out, everything fried, bunch of crazy stuff. But Nick Fuentes has been very kind to sit there for 25 minutes. So the viewers, while we got this back up, and I'm getting really bad audio in my ears, but I'm guessing we're back, Houston, right? Get a thumbs up? Okay, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate that. So, Nick, I'm just going to give you the floor till the hour ends. We're going to come back and restart the show out of the backup studio. But what a circus. I'm not going to say it's the CIA or whatever, but it's just interesting coincidence that we shut down tomorrow at midnight and start the Alex Jones Network, and craziness like this happens. So thanks for sitting there for 25 minutes. While you were sitting there on hold, what were you thinking about, Nick Fuentes?
oh, well, there's a lot to cover, right? I mean, there's a lot to go over maybe on the other side. I think where we left off, we're talking a little bit about the SPLC and, you know, everything that's being talked about over the past couple of weeks, and talking a little bit about your support for Trump, him throwing you under the bus and so on. But I guess, I mean, the big thing we're going to have to get into during the show, the other big thing is the situation in Iran. You know, maybe you want to get into that on the other side in the next hour.
That's exactly where I want to go. Is you called it 2 years ago. I got upset during Midnight Hammer. The Pentagon told him don't do it. Now fuel's exploding. Interest rates are going to go up. Inflation. It destroys his plan, and he just gets more pig-headed by the minute.
Yeah, well, and I don't even know what the plan is right now. You know, the big development over the past week is this big blockade they put in place last Tuesday when they extended the deadline indefinitely.
How do you put a blockade in place when the strait is closed? Tell me. They're like, oh, we're going to blockade your ports so that you can't get nothing. I mean, the strait is closed, bro. I don't know what we wasn't like. And then, guys, the Iran is right there. You know how easy it is to GPS some fucking drones to blow up a damn ship? A blockade ship probably costs millions of dollars. A drone costs like 10K. 10K to blow up $1 million ship, bro. And only one of them bitches got hit. So I don't know how you think you're gonna blockade something and they're right next door. Like crazy.
The ceasefire. And now it looks like it could really go in either direction. I'm hearing some reports, they say that Trump may just declare victory and unilaterally end the conflict and leave. Just broke moments ago while we were experiencing technical difficulties that they're actually bringing one of the carrier strike groups back home. So the Gerald Ford is actually on its way back to the United States.
Well, that's actually what Joe Kent advised Trump when he resigned a month ago and again last week. Just leave. Sure, it's not a victory, but at least you can say it is and not get deeper in the quicksand.
Right, and maybe that's what we're going to see. Or it could go the other way and we go back in with more bombing. So we'll see.
All right, 2 minutes, and we're going to make up for time for the 25 loss. I apologize to viewers. Not the crew's fault. Totally bizarre, pretty much solid state. Been swimming out of it. Iran, the ICE, or the Israeli of us getting shut down tomorrow, that the $50,000 board or whatever that never has problems just blew up like a robot with smoke coming out of it. I'm not going to say the CIA or the Israelis sent, bots in, but we know they've got that stuff. Nick, this is a short segment. A bunch of radio stations don't carry it, but you've got the floor. Let's get into Iran. You were the guy that called it. I'm not kissing your ass. It's true. You prophetically. How did you do that? And now it's obviously a fiasco. What a disaster. Yeah, aircraft carriers leaving. But Trump is so erratic. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, it's really difficult to say at this point. I think it honestly could go either way. And I predicted a lot of this from the very beginning about, how we would get here and when we would get here. But right now, and I said this on my show last night, we're in this state during the conflict where there is no clear plan. We were very clear about what the plan was at the very beginning. At the end of February 28th, when the conflict started, the goal apparently was to hit Iran as hard as possible and collapse the government. We were
basically get a regime change by killing the higher ups. Whoever was in charge, we're going to kill them. And the person behind him should be able to get regime change, should be able to change the regime or, in a sense, work with America.
We're going to hit him with everything we had, something like shock and awe. And the regime was supposed to utterly collapse and bring about regime change. And initially, they said this would take about 4 days. Trump even said in his statement, he said, and then once this operation is over, the people of Iran should emerge from their homes when we've done our work, effectively when we've defeated their military and collapsed the regime, and they could take back their country. Obviously, that didn't happen. And so those 4 days came and went. It became days, weeks, few weeks. And it became clear the Iranian regime was not only not going to collapse, but it actually consolidated. And it became clear at that point that there was no plan B. We had no idea actually what we were going to do if, one, the Strait of Hormuz had been closed, two, the regime did not collapse, and three, that more bombing was not going to increase Iran's compliance or extract concessions. And so we've been in this period now with all these extending deadlines. You might remember it was the first 48-hour deadline, and then it got extended by 5 days, 10 days, 24 hours, 2-week ceasefire. Last week, the ceasefire was extended indefinitely. And it seems that Trump administration is pursuing a dual track where at once they are seriously engaging Iran in diplomacy through mediators like Pakistan, potentially Qatar. At the same time, we're increasing the force posture in the Middle East to carry on this bluff, this bluster, that we're going to escalate the attacks against civilian infrastructure, that we're going to restart the war at some.
But the problem with this is that Trump has said, hey, let's do a ceasefire and attacked before. So why would the Iranians trust him not to attack them now, if that makes sense? So it's like he's either using it as a distraction or he's really going to give up. Those are the two, because that's what he likes to do with those ceasefires. He likes to use them as distractions to attack.
At some point that we might carry out more assassination strikes. And so these two things are happening in parallel, pursuing peace, but also mobilizing more assets to the Middle East. And so it's really hard to say exactly where that's going to go, if there will be a diplomatic breakthrough or if the United States is going to have to go in hard again. And like we talked about before that short break, it was just announced that one of the carriers is leaving the region. You got 3 carriers there, the Ford, the Lincoln, and the Bush. The Ford is now headed back to the United States. So that might seem to indicate that maybe we're drawing down the force posture. At the same time, they say CENTCOM is drawing up plans to attack Iran all over again, this time their civilian infrastructure, and Trump is on True Social saying no more Mr. Nice Guy. So really, it could go either way. I think a resumption of hostilities is inevitable, and it might not happen in days or weeks, but it is going to happen at some point. The core issues remain unresolved, and that's the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, and it's a nuclear issue. There's going to have to be a confrontation. Iran won't budge. The United States is simply not able to come off of its red lines, and we're also not able to retreat in a way.
But that's what's so funny is that Iran was giving up their nuclear program before the war. They was giving it up already. They said, "Fuck that shit. You just can't take our ballistic missiles." But America was being greedy.
That doesn't say face in some way.
Trump
So
was
I
being
think
greedy.
that a return to
Netanyahu.
arms, it's definitely going to happen. I don't know that it's going to happen in this round of fighting. It's conceivable that we find a way to live with Iran charging a toll on the strait. It's also possible that we find that unacceptable and Trump doesn't want to be humiliated and we go back in really hard and we give it another go before we wrap it up. So I think that's kind of the current state of the play. That's where we are in the war. As far as where it goes next, totally unpredictable. I think
and
only
Nick,
Trump.
I totally agree with you. Back in 60 seconds, let's get into other facets of this. Oil prices exploding. Trump now saying 4 more months, same timeline as Russia. How do we get out of this? I've been on the air 32 years. It wasn't until a few years ago I started playing air raid sirens almost every day that really highlights we're in crisis. And, you know, if you study geopolitics, energy, war, all this, it's really hard to overstate how serious things are. Inflation's exploding. Major crop planting is not happening. There's a guaranteed famine for millions of people next year. Already baked in. 30% of fertilizer not going through the Strait of Hormuz. Of the global fertilizer. The list goes on and on. The neocons are saying it's $1 trillion chest, that this will make our oil industry boom. But really the numbers are, it's just going to increase prices for everybody.
Nah, Nick hasn't done anything to where he is. Yeah, Nick hasn't really done it. Nick hasn't really done anything to me to where he's like untrustworthy yet. But you gotta understand, Unc, we have a whole bunch of time. There's a whole bunch of time for us to see if he's untrustworthy. So it's like we don't have to figure it out right now. We really don't even have to figure it out. We understand what's going on. We know what's going on, and we know what we have to do. If he doesn't follow what you know is right, then he doesn't follow it. But we know what's right. We know what we have to do. We know what is right. I'm hoping he's not a fraud. Hopefully he's not. Just like I hope Myron isn't a fraud. Just like I hope even and when I say fraud, I'm talking about I hope they are telling the truth like with the best of their ability. So like Sneeko, just the red pill guys. I try to hope, but really I really if anything, Myron is the guy that I watch the most, but I just hope these guys are telling the truth, which is why I do my own research, which is why you always have to do your own research. So I used to feel he was the GOAT, but now I don't trust him at all. To be honest, I trust Nick more than Alex. Sneeko at all. I like Sneeko. Sneeko's cool. Alex, like I said, I do my research after all these guys, especially Alex. I forgot what had happened, but yeah, I do my research after Alex, definitely. I definitely trust Nick more than Alex. I would say that. Yeah, I definitely trust. What's the effing man? Nah, I didn't. I wasn't on point yet. I wasn't aware yet, so I didn't even get to see that.
That kills Trump's recovery that I was so supportive of. So we look at this.
I didn't start becoming aware of shit till like 2018, 2020 kinda. So I'm fresh.
Look at every time we have a peace deal, Israel attacks Lebanon or attacks Iran. To break the deal, the Iranians won't even go to the peace negotiations. They say Trump's not in charge. And then Trump, like a little kid, goes, "Oh, I actually canceled the negotiations. The UAE just left OPEC in a big blow to Saudi Arabia and the whole Western alliance. This is hurting long-term the petrodollar. It's hurting America. Trump knows that, but he doesn't have an exit ramp. And so I have to ask you the question, Nick, other facets of this, but the big question, obviously, the Epstein files. And people get mad when I say this. It's just a fact. I've never seen evidence of Trump doing something wrong, but he told MTG and others, this embarrasses my friends. He said publicly, this hurts a lot of innocent people. Well, why do innocents fear the truth coming out? So about 8-9 months ago when Elon left, that's when everything started to change. From your research, from what you know, obviously Trump is a different Trump, worse, in his bad aspects. Is it compromise? Is it frontal lobe dementia? And then what do you predict is going to happen with different scenarios now? Because he does seem to be degenerating quickly. And then we get into the different camps now of the insane. You had a term on your show, I forget what it was. It's not MAGA now. It's not Israel first now. It's you had a great term. I forget what it is, but now it's morphed into this minority of people, mainly weren't Trump supporters before, that are now these slavish supporters. And then you've got the majority of Trump supporters that are totally freaked out but don't like the Democrats. And the poll numbers are plunging. It's a total disaster. And I know for people inside the White House 6 months ago they were doing alarm bells, but he just doesn't listen.
Did a video on it?
Deal to give the Democrats the House and Senate, and maybe he thinks they're going to leave him alone.
His dad did.
I mean, a lot of this is speculation.
And that type of stuff is hereditary.
With your predictions, Nick Fuentes.
Well, it's funny you say that about Epstein, and I'm a little bit skeptical of how much that's related to this. But here's what I will say about it, and this is just not ignorable. You're right. You're 100% right that the timeline is incredibly conspicuous. So it was only a week before Rising Lion. That was Israel's original operation against Iran last year that precipitated Midnight Hammer. When Israel attacked Iran, by the way, what day did they attack Iran last year? June 13. June 13, 613. There's 613 commandments in the Mishnah. So in the Old Testament, the Jews believe they're people of the book, they're people of the law. There's the 10 commandments, but throughout the Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible, there's actually 613 commandments. They compile them in the Mishnah. That's the basis of Rabbinic Judaism. So sort of interesting numerology. Before Israel attacked Iran, just a week before, like you said, Elon made his last visit to the Oval Office. And if you remember, he went to the Oval Office
with a black eye.
And they said at the time, well, Elon was playing with his kids and little X hit him in the face with a toy or something like that. That's why he had a black eye. Trump actually commented on that. He said, I offered to give Elon makeup, but he refused because he wanted everybody to see. That's a sort of a weird statement. So that was the last time Elon was in the Oval. He had the black eye. And Trump said, I told him to cover it up, but he wanted everybody to know he had the black eye. It was then a week after this, you might remember, that when Trump and Elon had their falling out, Elon said, well, the reason Trump won't release the files is because he's in them. Then you get the war. Then the war goes on for 12 days. They call it the 12-day war. It ends with Midnight Hammer. And then a couple days later, Trump brokers the ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Month later, Netanyahu makes his third visit to the White House up to that point on what day? July 7th, 7-7. More news. So 613, 7-7. These are the bookends. And it was the day before Netanyahu's third visit to commemorate and celebrate the victory in the war, where Netanyahu presents Trump with a gift celebrating the victory over Iran. It was the day before that the DOJ promulgated the memo from Pam Bondi, which buried the Epstein files. So you bookend the Iran war with the weird numerology, but also then the Epstein files. Elon brings it up. He's got the black eye. And then Pam Bondi puts out the memo saying there's no black book, there's no client list, and we're not investigating anybody any further. Fast forward to now. It was a week before this second war.
Have a nice day, DJ T. Time to drop the really big bomb. This nigga Elon was stupid, bro.
Iran broke out, that you had Congress release the files. And it was in January, everybody remembers, that's when all the files came out and flooded the internet. Not a few weeks after this, you get the second Iran war, and
Just-
then
Unc, they literally came on and said he is the best. They literally came on and was like, he is the best Jew, like the best. He is the. Yeah, they literally came on and was like, he is the best. He's the first Jewish president, not the best Jew. My fault. The first Jewish president. I'm trying to fix this chat box so it can actually look like, so people can actually see when you guys fucking talk. Um, instead of it being so damn small. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Other line. Um. Yeah. I feel like Box might be a little bit better. Oh, sure. The daughter and her husband, Jared Kushner, made him convert in 2018. Yeah, his daughter. Yeah, I'm telling you, it was like he's the best Jewish president, the best one. Like chat again. I'll say something again. Let's see what it does. Look how big it is. No Diddy. Sounded crazy. Trying to make it so that you can see it better. It better. Mm. Alright. Perfect. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's big enough. No Diddy.
and this is something which didn't get enough attention. It was a couple weeks ago that Melania Trump, out of nowhere, out of a clear blue sky, this was after the
I was about to bring that
ceasefire
up.
was.
Trump said he didn't know she was going to do it. She comes out and says it's real. It should be investigated, contradicting him getting ahead of something. That was huge talk about that. And then I forget the name of it, but when they launched this newest war 61 days ago, Israel launched it on the day that 2,300 years ago the Jews rose up and
Here
killed
with
the
the follow. I
Persians.
see you,
It's called
brother.
Purim or something. Remember that? So it's not even cryptic. They're not even hiding it. They said, Netanyahu said, we do this on the day where we rose up and killed all of the Persians. They're saying they're liberating Persians, but now we're killing you all.
Yeah, so February 28th was the day when they launched the war. That was a Friday. I believe Purim was that following Monday. And you're exactly right. It does commemorate the Jewish defeat over the Persians. And when the Israelis win, when the Jews win, they slaughter 70,000 Persians. This is in the Old Testament. That's what that holiday
Uncle with the sub, I see you, brother. You are the GOAT. Appreciate you.
commemorates.
Fucking GOAT.
And that is what started
Fucking
Roaring
GOAT.
Lion. It was Rising Lion last year. It's Roaring Lion this year. And then, like you said, ceasefire gets announced 3 weeks ago to the day yesterday. It's a week after this that Melania Trump goes out there, like you said, unannounced press conference, contradicting her husband and says, oh, yeah, the Epstein files are legitimate and I knew nothing and I had nothing to do with that. Seemingly like she's getting ahead of something. And so I honest to God, I'm one of the less conspiratorial people about the Epstein
you've been
files.
criticized because I know you study. I get it. That's why I respect you. Sometimes I disagree, but I always know from data why you're saying it. I never saw any Trump stuff with Epstein. But his Ludnick lying, going to the island, and he said it publicly. MTG first told me before she resigned a week before. She said, no, he told me it'll embarrass my friends. He said this is going to hurt innocent people. What do you mean? So, yeah. So, again, did he make a deal? Is he using the Epstein file to blackmail them? What do you think's happening?
I'm not sure exactly. I would imagine, though, the leverage goes against him. I would imagine potentially the leverage goes against him. Maybe there's something in the files because, again, the DOJ still has half the files. There's supposed to be 6 million files. That's not a joke or something. Not that 6 million is funny in any way, but there's 3 million. That's half of the total. Who knows what could be in the other? And you got to understand what was in the files already embarrassed Trump. There's documents in there saying that he was like eating babies' intestines. And obviously these are things these are just tips the FBI received. They're not corroborated. It's not evidence. It wasn't proven in court. But it's like this stuff is deeply...
They came to him and showed him all this, and he just said, it's a new Russia. That's what I think it is. They showed a bunch of crap. He just said, forget that. I'm not facing that, which then he, by extension, made himself guilty in.
Right. And it's possible they could be threatening him. There could be other things going on. It's hard we can only speculate what the real situation is because there's no evidence. But I will say, and this is where I'm not an Epstein maximalist, but you just cannot ignore the way that timeline maps onto this one.
I think there's something in there that Netanyahu knows that's in there and that's what they're using to get him to react the way he's doing right now. Because what he's doing right now is like really like dumb. He's doing like really irrational, emotional, dumb shit right now. And let me stop saying I think that they have something on him particularly.
You just wouldn't be a good investigator if you didn't put all those things together. And you're not necessarily sure exactly where that leads, but clearly there's something going on here. And what we know about Epstein and the whole thing is that all of that ran through the Israeli deep state. All of that ran through all these various former prime ministers, defense ministers of Israel, like Ehud Barak. It all runs through Unit 8200, Israeli intelligence. And what is Unit 8200 and Israeli intelligence deeply embedded in? Well, Silicon Valley. Because it was in the year 2010 that Netanyahu and Ehud Barak and all these different Israeli ministers, they basically told Unit 8200 in the IDF, go to the United States and start a bunch of tech startups, get in at the ground floor at all these different unicorn Silicon Valley companies. And now they're deeply embedded in all these different companies. You have to look at people like a Joe Lonsdale, like an Alex Karp, a Sean McGuire. Sean McGuire is a spy. Sean McGuire, well, allegedly, I'm using that loosely speaking, obviously. Sean McGuire is a partner at Sequoia Capital. It's like the #1 venture capital firm in Silicon Valley. They approve so much of the money that goes into these startups, these tech startups over there in El Segundo and even further north.
And a lot of them are produced by the Israeli government, the U.S. government, and others. They then sheep dip them and claim it's a private company, and then they own them and run them.
Well, and, Sean McGuire, his wife is Israeli. His kids are Israeli. He's like a Jewish nationalist. All these guys are like that. Joe Lonsdale's like that. Joe Lonsdale says the hero is Cyrus. Who is Cyrus? The Jewish Messiah. The Gentile Jewish Messiah
you said
in
that
the Bible. They're all like this. And so,
well, let me say this then. I don't think there's any doubt that's happening. Israel sees the weakness of Democrats. They're making their move, not to control foreign policy, but domestic, saying 8-front war. Why did Israel make its move right now to take over the U.S.?
Well, I think that Israel recognized that they're losing the
I was say they're losing the American people right now because the young people, we understand, and we the ones that people that use social media understand what's going on somewhat. Some, like, I want to say a small portion of people see what's going on. Was doing the blackmail. That's why nobody could touch him. Then I thought they definitely got something on him since the files came out and seen his actions. Now I believe the Epstein files are fake somewhat and Trump was bribed. Uh I can definitely see where you think they could be fake. Um and I can definitely see where Trump could be bribed. I still think they got something on him. I money since that's what I'm saying. Like, I still think they got something on him, but I think they bribed him with the trial before presidency. He was gonna go to trial. They said, "Hey, we'll make you president, so you don't have to do none of that stuff. Just make sure you do this, do this, and we'll be okay." He was like, "Sure." He gets all the money. While he's in there, they're like, "Hey, are we gonna get? What are you thinking about this war? When are we gonna start this war?" He's really trying not to start the war. 100%, but it's a distraction. In fact, he's really not trying to start the war. But Netanyahu's on his ass. He's like, "Bro, we just bailed you out. We need you to start this shit." And he's being slow about it. So BB puts the files out with him in it. Hey, you don't. We got 3 million more files with you in them. You sure you don't want to? Telling you, something. They got something on this nigga, bro. There's no way he's just acting like this because of money. There's no fucking way. Oh, and on God, he just. But there's no. Oh God, I agree with that, but I don't think he just. There's no way he just thinking about money right now. He just. It's that. Is he that broke? There's no way he's that broke. He's just doing. He's being a puppet and just ruining his reputation for some bread. I can't see that. It has to be something else. It has to be something more than just money.
American constituency. They're recognizing that they're losing control of America, losing control of the conversation.
So if
For
they
example,
beat us up like a wife trying to leave,
Sister
will
war.
make us come back?
No, I agree he
Well,
wants
I
money,
think
but I don't think he would go to war just for money. I don't think he would make himself look bad just for money. Maybe he would. He's going to get. Oh, hold up. Let me fix this. He's going to get. I think it's the money, bro. I don't know. I don't wanna. I don't wanna say it's the money because it has to be more than just bread, right? There's no way niggas are compromising their whole family for some money, but it might be Trump Towers and hotels in all those areas. I heard that about what they're trying to do in Gaza on the west on the not is it the West Bank, but definitely the Gaza Strip. Let me make sure I'm talking. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, because the West Bank is over here. Yeah, Gaza Strip. They're trying to make uh like a beachfront. Basically, they're gonna make a. That's basically what Israel's trying to do. Is make a beachfront.
it's more like they're trying to swipe our credit card as much as they can before we get the divorce. To follow the metaphor.
Yeah, the Israelis are like, soon we won't need America. Screw them. They've said that. We're getting exactly. So yeah, swipe the credit card as fast as possible.
Right. This is their go for broke. They're really going all the way. I will also
say, know they're cornered. They know the world's turned against them. Most unfavored nation in the world in Gallup. Exactly. So they're just screw it. Total chutzpah.
Yeah, basically, that's basically what Israel's doing. They're basically saying we need to hurry up and start. Like Nick said, that was a great example. Swiping that credit card as quickly as they can before they turn that bitch off, because it's on its way. They are noticing. These Americans are definitely noticing. You got to see Alex Jones hammered on Tim Pool's podcast. I don't think nobody knew he was going to be that effed up. Nah, that would be funny. Definitely got to watch that. Definitely will watch that at work tomorrow. Tim Pool, Tim Pool. I forgot what. Isn't Tim like a He'd be scared to say Israel. I remember when it wasn't Ye was on Tim and he was talking about the Jews, or he's scared to say the Jews. But Tim was like, what Tim was like, who? And he's like, you know who I'm talking about. And he was like, what do you mean? I just watched him with the Tim shit. This shit was hilarious. No, you're good. I don't give a fuck what you watch, bro. You watch what you want to watch, nigga. Don't I'm not gonna judge you because you watch Tim Pool. I watch niggas that are dumb sometimes. Like the other day, like I've been preach. I don't fuck with them niggas at all. They be lying. They like to lie a lot. That's the only reason why I don't like them is because they like to be disingenuous instead of just be 100. It has nothing to do with how they feel about anybody in the red pill. Or just they just it's just very disingenuous when they do their videos. But instead of just being straight up and 100 and talking shit like about the actual like what's going, they just really be disingenuous. But I watched a video of theirs the other day because they were talking about Donovan Sharp. I was just trying to see what they were saying, what they were gonna say about him. But it was some nonsense, so I clicked out of it. But yeah, I don't, yeah, as long as like there's a lot of niggas I watch just for simple entertainment purposes. But definitely W stream. Definitely went nice, good long hour today watching Alex and Nick just catch up. They really were catching up. They weren't really talking about nothing major today. They just were catching up basically. Hey Nick, we haven't seen you in a minute. What you been up to? What you think about this? What you think about that? They just was catching up on shit. So it wasn't nothing like that we're missing like with the content or regardless of like them talking about something important. They're just catching up on what's going on. Because nothing's happening in the war so far. We're still in a ceasefire. Lebanon's still getting bombed. Um Trump threatened them again today. But other than that, it's nothing too major that's been going on. But yeah, they just was catching up. It's good to see good to watch a Nick video where, niggas are actually talking about something instead of him just being mad at, but it doesn't matter. But like I said, uh like we were talking about before though, Unc. And that's what was I'm glad he talked about it today though with the SPLC shit because obviously Nick's comment section was frying him with that stuff. So I'm glad he talked about that today. That would be weird though. For what I could think of though is like say that if they gave him money, they were giving him money because of how they doxed him, like reparations and like about how they doxed him. That's something that I could like believe if he said that, hey, they gave me money because they doxed me and they felt bad, something like that. But him actually taking money from them, that would be kind of crazy because he's fighting against them right now. So if we do find that out, that would be one of the things. I don't think it's true. Me neither. But whose story? Nick's story or the him being paid by SPLC? But other than that, Nick's with him being doxxed? Because I remember him being doxxed. And I didn't say that was, and I didn't say that's what he said either. I'm just saying I could believe that if he said that, I could believe that. But yeah, they definitely put it on their page. They showed that they were showing that earlier. I think it's a hit piece. A hit piece. Like the I'm trying to think. The doxing? The doxing or the like I know you don't feel like typing the fucking paragraph. The whole SPLC stuff. Okay, wait, okay. Uh Same. I don't think it's true, but you never know. But I appreciate I love that you always keep me up to date with stuff because we gotta watch these niggas with a fucking binocular because it takes one phone call for them niggas. Like, for example, our boy John Kirikou, I found out that Myron was supposed to do a show with him. Come to find out, he got signed to a talent agency. Talent agency is ran by the Jews. That's why he couldn't do the show with Myron. Like, we gotta watch these niggas with a fuck. And I love John. John is the funniest ex-CIA agent I've ever seen in my life. But we gotta watch these niggas with we gotta. When I mean I love John, I loved John when I first saw him on IG, funny as hell. On podcast, all of them fake. Yeah, John was funny as fuck. Like, especially the way they clipped him on the edits. That nigga was funny, but yeah, he's definitely been compromised now. So I don't know what to fucking. I don't know what he's gonna do now, but yeah, Myron already said that he was that's who he works for now, that talent agency, CAA. It's CAA, so you can look it up for yourself. But and I did that. But yeah, it's he had to. I don't know why he didn't. I mean, he didn't have to apologize. He could have stood his ground like a real nigga, but he apologized because he's scared of PBD. I guess I don't know. Like, they talked about it yesterday. Like, if you supporting the Shah, then it's like you're kind of like for what Israel wants, and that's what Israel wants. They don't want the RGC. They want the Shah. If he didn't, now his career was over. If he didn't, oh my goodness. I mean, what career? Like, he's just a fucking clip. Nigga's just a clip. Like, but nah. John is funny. We just gotta watch him with a fucking. We just gotta fucking keep him away with a long ass stick. How they say with I don't know the saying. How the saying goes. Make sure you feed him with a long stick. There we go. Feed him with a long stick. 10-foot pole. There we go. No diddy, because that would hurt. No diddy. But anyways, I appreciate everybody for stopping. Oh God, pause there, because that's crazy. 10 foot. Jesus Christ. God damn. Anyways, I appreciate my boys for chopping it up with me today. Shout out to Unc with the subs, Heal 80 and Heal 8 with the follows. I see you guys in the chat. Nice easy Wednesday today. We watched Alex and Nick come back together. This was a good little catch up. I will see y'all boys on Friday. Please be safe. Make sure you have a good rest of your day. Peace.
The bitch shaking it, showing it. You this, you that. We laughing at them together. Oh! So stop treating these like they mean something.
Let's go to TikTok.